Hey Todd, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, not only am I going to show you how I cut your Gucci model number 1954, but this is your first pair of glasses, and this is something unique. I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut the invisible bifocal. That's something you usually don't see. Usually on mail order I only do single vision, but since you came into my shop I was able to measure you up, which I needed exact measurements for the invisible bifocal, and let's show you how I cut them. I'm going to pop out your demo lenses, one of them that says Gucci over here. Pop these out, and I'm going to put your frame into my new $40,000 French Nexia edger and tracer. Hit the button, all computerized this time. Pull this up and it's going to trace your frame. Override that one. But the stylus is going to pop up and trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the shape of the left lens here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Gucci frame and you receive free, clear, single vision lenses. Of course, I can't do that for the top of the line digital freeform lenses. So you're paying out of pocket for that, and you're paying out of pocket for the transitions. But anyone else who needs single vision lenses, that's what you're going to get for free. So in just a moment, the shape's going to pop up onto the computer screen. Come on, pop up, pop up. Man, what does $40,000 buy you? You think you get something a little bit faster than this? Come on, talk to me now, talk to me. There we go, there's the shape, and of course it's magnified. If I do it in the actual real size, you can see that is the shape of your lens. So let's magnify everything again, and we can go ahead and type in the coordinates. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. Of course, this is your Gucci case. I'll get to that later. First things first. Okay, I need to set your pupillary distance, which is the width between the center of your pupils. And you are 34 for your right eye, and the height of your invisible bifocal will be 18. So I'm going to bring that up there. Let's go over and do your left eye, which you are actually the same in your left eye. We're going to do 34 millimeters there. There we are, 34. And we're going to do 18 for the height of the invisible bifocal. So bring that up to 18. Bring that back over to the right eye. And that lens shape is going to switch. There we go. Now you get to watch me, what I call dot up the invisible bifocal. This tells me exactly where to go. Now this is going to be weird when I turn this machine on. It's going to get some weird magnified effects for you. Always does on the GoPro, but this is a tool. And of course you see a couple black dots on here. Every invisible bifocal has little laser marks on there to tell me exactly not only the brand but the power, and hopefully you'll be able to see all this in there. But the first thing I do is clean all of that off because I put my own on there. I never trust the lab's markings. It's a good way to miscut a lens. So hopefully you can see that. I don't know what this will magnify, but with the dot I'm putting on there, there's a little round circle, and that tells me, again, I underline the power, and it's a 1.7. I guess you can't see that. That's the left lens. So what I've got is a layout chart here. I'm going to take your left lens, put it down over those dots, and this will tell me that's exactly where your lens, your eye, your pupil, this is going to be sitting in front of your eye. Let me see if I can darken that a little bit more. My pen's getting old. I know I got a new pen around here somewhere. Let me see if I can find that. Where is that? Here we go. This is a better pen. I'm going to do the same thing now for your right lens. Let me pull the cap off. Put a dot right there. Oh yeah, this is right and better. And there we have that. So let me go over here to the layout chart. I put those two dots on there, and I'm going to line them up with those two dots there. So this whole thing might take me about 22 minutes, where the other videos take me about 17 or 18. And that is your optical center, that last red dot there. I'm going to turn this off so you don't get weird side effects in the background. Although you may like that. I'm going to have to start charging extra for that. These are the foam sleeves that they send your lenses in to protect them during shipping. Always recycle those. I put them over there, and of course anyone who buys lenses only, I ship those out. So this layout chart, I'm also going to switch. This is a single vision lens. When I press, this tells me what type. I can do a progressive lens. This tells me how to lay it out. I can do the old traditional line style bifocal, which people have seen for years and years, and of course I got this one underlined so you can actually see that. I can do other types of lenses there, but let me just go back to the progressive. So the blue star or cross is the geometric center of the lens. The one above there, hopefully you can see that, is a new layout chart, and what I do is I'm going to put your optical center, that red dot that I have in the center of the lens. Let me turn that over you so you can see it. That red dot I'm going to place in the middle of that cross, and then these two dots on the outside I'm going to line up here with this layout chart so they're both on that black line. And this thing is so gentle, so easy to move, trigger happy, I guess. So that's lined up perfectly. So this is a block. This is what's going to be attached to your lens while it's cutting. That's what's going to hold it inside the machine, essentially the lathe. So I'm going to pull this sticker off, drop this in here. And I used to have a big mechanical arm I bring down. Now that's all electronic. I hit that button and that's going to go down and apply the block onto your lens. Press down so it stays on there firm. Let me do the same thing now for the left lens. Pull the sticker off to get that adhesive sticker ready to go. Put that in, and it's held in place with a magnet. Let me turn to the right side up. There we go. And let me get those three dots. And in case you couldn't see that in the last one, let me see if I can darken that for you. I'm just holding it up to a light, touching it up with a Sharpie, because gray for some reason shows up way better. Now you should be able to see those dots a whole lot better. So the top one is going to go in the middle of that cross, and then I'm going to get these lined up on the graph. And we are ready to go. I'm going to hit the button again, and that's going to come down and drop that where it should be. And we are ready to go. Your lenses are ready to cut. I'm going to put that back there on the magnet. I'm going to take your right lens and hit the tracer button. This is going to pull up the shape of your lens onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses being cut on the soft cycle because they're polycarb. I do not want to polish the lens, and I want to put a good bevel on the back surface of the lens, and I'm going to put a good bevel on the front surface of the lens. So the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. If you can see that, that's like a heavy grit wheel. That's going to grind away your polycarbonate lens material. And then what's underneath here is what's going to, once it's the final shape, you'll still have some rough edges left over from the cutting cycle, and that's going to put what's known as the safety bevel, which is going to smooth those out. So the magnet clips right in there. That's going to hold your lens in place. I hit what looks like the play button, but that starts the whole machine off. The door is going to close, the clamp's going to shut, and the first thing that's going to happen is these calipers are going to come, and it's going to trace the shape of your lens going all the way around to make sure this lens is large enough to fit into your frame. And it is. It's just a routine operation that it does. It's also measuring the thickness, every point on your lens, to know exactly where to place the bevel so it will fit best inside your frame. Now your lenses are thin, but some people have thick lenses, and it just shows where to position them so it fits best inside the frame. Now polycarbonate cuts dry, so you'll be able to watch this. It only sprays water on the lens during the last cutting cycle, the last of the cutting cycle, to wash away any optical debris, optical sawdust if you will. And when that does, it's going to look like a car wash with water spraying against the door, and you won't see any of this. Now your lenses are made out of polycarb, as I mentioned. Some of the qualities of polycarbonate lenses, they are 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. Not only that, they are virtually unbreakable. They are also bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection. UV, of course, stands for ultraviolet. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes that will never need to be reapplied, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you have to apply every couple hours at the beach. This is permanent, and you never have to worry about it. Not only that, you decided to upgrade to the transition lenses that turn dark outside. As you can see, the lenses are clear while they're indoors, and I'm going to show you those darkening too. You're going to get the full show from me. Now it is done cutting, and the lens is now being traced again to find out exactly where to place the bevel so it will fit best. When I say bevel, it's going to be a knife-like edge that's going to go inside. If you think of your frame as being a little gutter, you have a little V-shaped channel, and it's measuring exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside the frame. This is what the new end $40,000 edges are doing. And that wheel in the center has a little channel, a little V-shaped channel. And by rotating your lens, that's what's, instead of going from a flat surface like a nickel, I could have stopped it a minute ago and it would stand on the counter on its own. Now it's getting the knife-like edge. Now it's a very dull knife-like edge, but nonetheless it's going to fit inside that channel now. very dull knife like me. Now, in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, that water jet kicks in to wash away any optical sawdust that may be there. And of course, it's still going to apply, even though the bevel is there, it is now going to apply what's known as the safety bevel. If you can imagine like a little Dremel cutting wheel, even though it's the final shape, it's going to go and smooth out all the way around the front surface of the lens, and then it's going to smooth out the surface of the back surface of the lens. I used to do that by hand on the machine. I would take a lens and go around and put on the bevel, but now it's obsolete. Well, it's not obsolete. Someone brings me a broken frame and they have a lens one size and they want me to put it into a smaller frame. I can do that for them. Now, I do that by hand, the old school dinosaur way. Now here's your Italian leather Gucci case. It stores flat so you can put it in your back pocket or glove box when it's not in use, and when you do want to use it, it just opens up, folds out, and then provides you good protection. Of course, you're going to get the Gucci card of authenticity and the Gucci cleaning cloth, and I will also provide with you instructions on how to care for these so they will last you for years. So let's open the chuck up, pull your lens out. I do want to dry your lens off so it is not slippery. And then if I'm unlucky, hey, there's the screwdriver. I've got a shared lab, so my co-workers come back here and use this. I'm going to take my Phillips head screwdriver and do the lefty-loosey. If you notice, I'm placing the top of your frame on some padded moleskin and not the counter, so it protects the finish of the frame. Now that eye wire screw is opened, I'm going to take your lens, put it into the place, set it in there, and I'm now going to do the old righty-tighty. And hopefully you can see that clamp closes flush and flat, so that is a good size. It is not too loose and everything fits in there perfectly. So I'm going to reverse this to L. The shape is going to change, and now we're going to start cutting the left lens. I'm going to take that, put it into the chuck. I have to duck down a little bit no more for the new machine. Hit start. The door closes, the clamp's going to come down just like it's in a lathe. And just like before, this time it's going to trace the shape of the left lens to make sure this is large enough to fit into the frame. And it is. This is just a routine procedure that goes through every time. Of course, it's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point going around the circumference of the lens to know where to place the bevel, both before and after the cutting process. This is extremely accurate. It eliminates human error that I could actually slip while having a lens on here, and it does happen, and so no more scuffs, no more anything. This was just a practice lens. The machine now can actually do drill mounts. If you can see that little needle right there. Silhouettes, Maui gems, there's other lenses out there that actually attach. Do I have one here? Do I have one here? This is a drill mount. So you literally drill holes in the lens to mount them. Where's my practice lenses I was working on earlier? Here's a few of these. Let me see if I can hold them over background. And you can actually see the drill holes on both sides of the lenses. That's how this would attach to the frame. So that I can actually do that in-house now. This was the only thing I used to send out for. And I've just been practicing on all sorts of different shapes, getting it right, adjusting the bevel. So see how rough or sharp the edges are. Both a polished lens that you see here and the non-polished, just to see what the final outcome is. Just a little bit of practicing as I learn my equipment. The first 300 plus videos that I did, I used the older Italian Santinelli edger. This is a French model made by Essilor, which is one of the largest lens companies. In fact, they actually make your lenses. In fact, I can go ahead and keep working on your right lens. I'm going to remove this block, pull that sticker off. Again, dry your lens off. Where'd my cloth go? And I'm going to keep those red dots on your lenses because I'm going to need that to measure in just a moment. In fact, the moment is now. Your right eye reads +1/4, -1 at 95. So I'm going to put the axis wheel on 95. Put your lens in right over that red dot, and I'm going to read the prescription off of there. And I am getting +1/4, which is 1 tick mark past the 0. Check your astigmatism correction, which I'll explain in just a moment. I'm getting a final power of -75. Now your prescription reads plus a quarter, minus 1 at 95. Your left eye is plano, which means no prescription, minus 75 at 98. The unit of measurement in the optical world is called a diopter, and it goes in quarter increments. Plano, which is 0, 0.25, 0.50, 75, 1, and so on. So you need 1 step of magnification in your right eye. You need 4 steps for astigmatism correction. Now, astigmatism, think of that as the fine-tune knob. This first number magnifies, although you only need 1 step of magnification and none in your left eye. All of your correction primarily is known as astigmatic, which is the fine-tune knob. 1 number magnifies to the correct size, 1 number takes away fuzzy edges. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So this last number, 95 and 98, now you need 4 steps of correction for your right eye and 3 for your left. A straight line is like from 0 to 180. 90 is the vertical meridian, 180 on a compass or crosshairs of a scope. You have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. We're going to turn that knob just past 95, or past 90 to 95, a little bit further for your left eye to about 98. Now that's the fine-tune knob. That takes away the fuzzy edges. So you remember high school algebra, you have opposite signs, so you add them together, plus a quarter. So if you had 25 cents and someone borrowed $1, you would be negative 75, and that's where we're at. You're almost at negative 1. So your left eye is plano, minus 75, so we're going to end up at the same mark because 0 is plano, and we're going to end up at minus 75, which is 3 steps, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. So that's why you squint, because you're trying to change the shape of your eye, and that's what astigmatism is. You have 2 curvatures on your eye, one curve going this way, another curve going this way. It is not completely round. One angle is slightly different than the other, and that's why when you squint, you change the shape of the eye to try and make out that figure a little better. Where'd your frame go? It's down here in my good old Marco 101 lensometer. So I'm going to take my screwdriver and we're going to go lefty-loosey. And if all goes well, I do not drop. Hey, I see a screw I need to tighten there, your little eye wire screw. Let me tighten that in for your temple hinge. There we go. Give everything a nice little tightening. Before I forget about it, let's do this side. There we go. Make sure that that one's a little snug. Let me back that off so the hinge works well. There we go. Do the same thing on this side. I tighten that too much. Let me loosen that one up so we get the right amount of play. There we go. Okay. So again, lefty-loosey. I'm just going to check every screw before it goes out the door. Of course, you're going to pick these up from me in person. You're one of the few people. Usually I ship everything all over the world, and I would like to mention, even though you're picking these up, as I do ship anywhere in the United States for free. I do offer international shipping, but I just cannot do that for free. So, but I let you pick the rates that you want. I'm going to take that block off, pull that sticker off, and of course that thing is no longer red because I tightened it to white. But your prescription, your pupillary distance is 34 in both eyes for a total of 68. So I'm going to put my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and when we measure on your left lens, we're getting 68 millimeters. Hopefully my pupillary stick or my GoPro camera is good enough. So that's a combined measure of 68. The height of your bifocal is at 18, so I'm going to put the 0 again on your right lens, and at the bottom of the frame we're getting 18 millimeters. Let's do the same thing now for the left. Getting 18 millimeters again, so that is measured perfectly. I do want to go ahead and verify the prescription of the left eye, which is 98. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel to 98 there, put it in, and when I read the power off of here, I'm getting 0, which is plano, which is the power of your left eye. Now I'm going to go 3 steps of astigmatism correction here. Yes, you can look at the dust on the top of my lensometer, but we're ending up again at minus 75, which is 1 tick mark away from 1. So that is made accurately. One last thing I want to do is, while I'm cleaning the dots off, I like to mention to everyone that when you do receive glasses in the mail from me, if they're too loose or too tight, or 80% of the time, chances are one side is higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. And that's why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments. Now, Todd, I'm going to personally adjust these for you so they fit perfectly. But in the short term, I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as the 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. So I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. Flip this over. Press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that's higher than the other, so when I take my glasses off and put them on the counter, they wobble, but they sit level on me. So, just like I was going to do before, I check to make sure that each temple overlaps perfectly, and they do. Same amount of tension on the spring hinges. So that's that, Todd. I do appreciate you purchasing glasses from me. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. So Todd, I hope you enjoyed not only watching as I made your first pair of glasses, but just the fact that they're the invisible bifocal, which I don't cut much on the videos, because they do take a little longer. But hang on, you got the transition. So this is what they look like clear. Let's go ahead and activate your lenses. So I'm going to put them in my little transitions box back here in the corner, which is just a strong UV light, like in the Spencer's when you go in those shops in the mall and all the t-shirts glow. Now, as you will see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to go from clear to dark. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, about 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, as you will see, all transition lenses, Todd, this is important, pay attention. All transition lenses turn dark on day 1. Giving them 2 weeks, they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is if you're behind the windshield of a traditional car. It too absorbs all the sun's UV rays so your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun. That's why they won't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, yes, they will darken, but just not in a car. So, plus they're temperature sensitive. They get darker when it's 85 to 90 degrees and below than they do when it's 85 to 90 and above. When it's 100 degrees, you're miserable, they're miserable. No one likes to work 100% when it's that hot outside. So that's that. Again, this is the first time they've been activated, so they're going to continue to darken. But now, if anyone has any questions, you can email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the Contact Me button on the website. Again, thanks for getting your first pair of glasses from me, and everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.